Thinking about moving to California? Well, on average, 1,118 people do that every single day. The issue California's had in recent years is, on average, they have about 1,813 people leaving the state every single day, according to the Public Policy Institute of California. So you don't have to do the math, that's a loss of about 695 people a day. And how crowded California's been over the last 50 years, that's really kind of good news. But if you're planning on being one of those 1,118 people, you have to watch this video. Now, don't worry, we're not going to cover all the well-known BS World According to Briggs knockoff channels do. Most California videos serve the same reheated casserole: expensive homes, high taxes, heavy traffic, and allegedly perfect weather. None of that is exactly a state secret, we all know that, so there's no point in me going over it on another video. This video is about the things you don't know or things that never occurred to you. From the outside, California looks perfect. If you live and breathe cable news, you probably think it's just horrible. It's not. Let's take a look. Number 10, you're not really moving to California. California is less than a single state and more like a group project nobody read the same instructions for. Living in coastal San Diego has almost nothing in common with living near Redding, Fresno, Lake Tahoe, or the Redwoods. Your utility company, insurance options, fire risk, medical access, and local rules can change dramatically depending on your exact address. Research the county and neighborhood you're moving to, not just the state. And that's true. I grew up in California, a beach community in the Los Angeles metro area called Redondo Beach, and Torrance also. I've been all over that state, and I can tell you that you could go 100 miles and think you're in a different country. Matter of fact, where I come from, if you go 10 miles inland, like past the 110 freeway, it's a totally different situation. Some areas look like downtown Mogadishu. The beaches of Los Angeles are nothing like the beaches of the San Francisco Bay Area. The Redwoods are nothing like Death Valley. Even the voting records. Look how San Diego and Los Angeles lean compared to Bakersfield and Fresno. It's like Vermont versus Mississippi. So California is not really one state, even though it's under the same flag. Number 9, your employer usually can't trap you in a non-compete. California generally refuses to enforce employment non-compete agreements. In most cases, an employer can't tell you if you leave the company, you gotta stop selling decorative candles out of your garage. Now that's a major advantage for people in technology, sales, media, and other fields where switching companies can lead to a better opportunity. It's also helpful for creators, freelancers who don't want an old contract following them around like a needy ghost. There are some states where if you work fast food, they have non-compete agreements, meaning you can't leave McDonald's and go 10 miles down the road and join the Wendy's crew. Some states go that far down the monkey bars to hold people into non-compete agreements. It's like, come on, man, what kind of corporate secrets is the guy running the fry machine holding under his paper hat that you don't want shared with the competition? It's like they pull him into the manager's office. Billy, you're listening to me? Quit picking your nose, Billy. Billy, how many times did they shake the salt over the fries before they serve them? Guy takes off his paper hat and goes, "My name's Billy." Billy, the salt. We need to know about the salt. My name's Billy. Number 8, paid family leave is actually a thing. Now, if you watched the last video we did about North Carolina, you know that they got some pretty hokey rules when it comes to being an employee in that state. Like no breaks, no lunch hour, no lunch half hour. State employees can't stage walkouts or strikes. Non-California, the people have the power, it seems. California's paid leave program can provide up to 8 weeks of benefit payments for bonding with a new child, caring for a serious ill family member, or handling certain military family needs. Many lower and middle class income workers can receive up to 90% of their regular wages. One important catch to this though, family paid leave replaces some income, but it doesn't automatically protect your job. Other states or federal laws may provide that protection, so don't simply disappear from work holding a baby and waving an EDD brochure. make sure they're not going to replace you as soon as you take your leave. I was doing a little research on this, and one of these lawyers that's online said that most decent companies will give you a time frame. If you're back within 90 days, 60 days, 30 days, you have no problem. Your job is secure. After the 90 days, we may have to replace you, and that's perfectly legal for them to do that. And in most cases, that's part of your package that you sign when you first get on, so it's in writing, he said. Number 7, that shed in the backyard might become an apartment. California has pushed cities and counties to make accessory dwelling units, commonly known as ADUs, easier to build. This includes backyard cottages, garage conversions, and smaller units attached to existing houses. For homeowners, that can create space for aging parents, adult children, or rental income, which is a big thing in California now. It's one of the few California housing policies that looks at a crisis and said, fine, let's turn the garage into a house. Local costs and building rules still matter, but the state has reduced many of the old barriers. California in recent years is trying to unload some of the red tape that they've had in the past because they were really bureaucracy heavy for a very long time. And that really stalled a lot of the housing that would go up. And they've got a serious housing shortage. So they've removed some of the barriers, not just for adding onto your own house or putting a cottage in the back, but just building in general. I mean, you still got to get it inspected for earthquake stuff and you still got to follow rules, but they're trying to eliminate some of the offices and paperwork you have to fill out just to build some homes, which is a good thing. It's about 50 years overdue, but it's a good thing. But yeah, if you buy a house there and let's say you've got a mother, father that's getting older, you could build them a cottage in the backyard and have them stay there with you. Number 6, the DMV starts the clock quickly. Once you become a California resident and take a job there, you generally have 20 days to register your vehicle. Your car also has to meet California's emission requirements, and many vehicles eventually need a smog inspection. I just called it infection a second ago. Had to correct that. It kind of feels like an infection though. I've had to get that done so many times. It was horrible. I hated it. You go in there and let's say your older car is spitting out a little bit too much carbon or whatever they're measuring for. You've got to get that fixed before they'll register your car. And sometimes you come into a situation where the car's not worth being fixed just because of the smog thing. So that old project car you've lovingly kept alive with duct tape, optimism, and the mysterious dashboard lights may not receive the warm welcome you expected. Check whether it can be registered before hauling it across 4 states. Yeah, my car I had in high school was a 1972 Ford Econoline van with a couch I had gotten from Pier 1 Imports in the back. I sold it to a guy when I went in the army. I saw him years later and he said eventually he couldn't get it smogged. He tried all kinds of things to keep it going for his business. And he said, yeah, they wouldn't let me smog it anymore. It was like get a new engine or get rid of the van. I had to get rid of the van. A lot of good memories in that van and on that couch. Number 5, California wants to know when you officially arrived. California residents are taxed on income from all sources, including income earned outside the state. Partial year residents generally pay California tax on worldwide income received while they were residents, plus California source income from the rest of the year. This can complicate things for remote workers, business owners, creators, and people with investment income. Keep records showing when you moved and where your work was performed. Now, again, growing up in California and watching what my parents had to go through because of their businesses, California's Franchise Tax Board is not a government agency that's there to help you. I believe they're there to actually make your life miserable and try and chase you and your business out of the state. My mom rarely cussed, but I saw her hurl a few F words when discussing the Franchise Tax Board. They're brutal, and that's one of the reasons California is considered an unfriendly environment for business. I saw a comedian years ago compare it to having herpes. They're always going to be there and going to have a flare-up at the worst possible time. Number 4, the utility company may intentionally turn off your power. Yeah, this is a thing in California, and I'm sure other states have something similar, but there's areas in California when it's really dry and the wildfire conditions are really high, utility companies can use public safety power shutoffs. They temporarily cut electricity when they got strong winds and dry vegetation. Mix those together and the power lines create a serious fire risk, so they cut the power and hopefully they don't have a wildfire. Now, this doesn't affect every neighborhood, but it matters when buying in the foothills, mountains, and rural communities. Ask whether the address has experienced previous shutoffs and consider a battery backup. That's almost required these days, especially if you buy in one of the new communities in the foothills. Have a battery backup. Your refrigerator needs electricity, your medical equipment, and your internet all need electricity. And if they shut it off for 6 hours, 12 hours, 24 hours, you're hosed. And in recent years, they've had a couple flare-ups because they waited too long to turn off the electricity, so they're a little fast on the trigger these days. Another thing they do is when you get one of those smart home thermostats, they'll offer you a discounted rate, like all year, if you give them the ability to turn your electricity down or your air conditioning down when they need the power. So their power plants are really straining to keep up with demand, they'll turn it down for you. And then people get online and complain. It's like, hey, you checked that thing, got that discount so they could do this. A lot of states do that out west. Oregon, I've never had it done because I have actually one of those thermostats that I've never installed because I read about that after I bought it. It's like, yeah, I think I'll just leave this one alone because even though you gotta say, okay, I'll do that, you know there's gonna be a point where they're gonna go, you know, we just have to make the executive decision and turn down everyone's air conditioning. And then when you pitch a fit, they start telling you about how the hospitals need the electricity. Summers keep getting hotter, it's just a matter of time. Number 3, earthquake insurance isn't included. Standard homeowners, renters, and condominium policies generally don't cover earthquake damage. Earthquake coverage must normally be purchased separately, and deductibles can be quite large. Now, I'm not going to talk about earthquakes here. We all know California has earthquakes. They happen every single day in California. It's just rarely do they have massive earthquakes. I live in California a lot of my life. I've felt too many earthquakes, and most of them are just a little unnerving and nothing really breaks. But they're still going to charge you like every single day something's going to break. Homeowners insurance usually covers fires caused by an earthquake, but not the shaking damage itself. So the house burning afterwards may be covered, while the foundation moving 6 inches towards Nevada could be a problem. Read the exclusions very carefully when you're getting insurance in California and really focus on the wildfire stuff and the earthquake stuff. The wildfire especially, oh my God, I have a friend, I went to school with her. She bought her new house, like her dream house. Well, I don't know if it was her dream house, but she had a house. She's very proud of it, put it on Facebook. I don't think she was in there a month when they had the complex fire in 2017. It took out most of her brand new community, including her house. For months, it was so sad. She'd go by afterwards and, take pictures of the empty lot where her brand new house was. And then it was like a year or so of construction, of putting up a new house. It was really sad. And that's a real issue they have in California. More on that in number 2. Number 2, the fire map can matter more than the view. A beautiful home surrounded by trees may also sit inside a high fire hazard zone. California's National Hazard Disclosure Form now identifies properties in both high and very high fire hazard areas. So yeah, it's a big problem. Everyone for a long time thought earthquakes, California has earthquakes, California has earthquakes. Screw the earthquakes, worry about the wildfires, honestly. Earthquakes are unsettling, especially to people that have never experienced one, but they rarely take out whole towns and parts of the city like a wildfire does. Properties in fire-prone locations may also require defensible space, vegetation management, or home hardening work. Yeah, it's a thing. Before buying, check the official hazard map, insurance availability, and evacuation routes. Those charming trees may give you nice scenery and shade, but it's also an unpaid landscaping job that could possibly help ignite your home. For the longest time, I always looked at the weather map to see where the rain was, the snow was, if they're having lightning. So I'd go on all these weather apps, and they always had little buttons that you can click and see the map and what it looks like. They now have a fire map. And if you go to California right now, actually, Oregon is really bad. There's fires all over the West. There's not much going on the East, the Midwest, or anything like that. But starting around Denver on West, it's bad. And it's something you need to consider when you're moving to any place, not just California, but California is pretty bad. And it's starting to look like Oregon's getting worse. The good news for our firefighters, we're getting some rain go through pretty much the whole state. Not that much yet, but it looks like we might have some tomorrow too. That might help. It also brings lightning and might click something off too. All right, before we get to number 1, if you're thinking about moving to California or any state, there is a link for Home and Money in the description area below. They can get you in touch with a real estate agent anywhere in the country. All right, on to number 1. And number 1, your property tax bill may be from another century. Yeah, that's a thing. In California, they got this thing called Proposition 13. Under Proposition 13, a property's assessed value is generally reset to the current market value when it changes ownership. That means someone who bought next door decades ago might pay far less than a new buyer purchasing an almost identical house. People over 55, certain disabled homeowners, and some disaster victims may be able to transfer an existing property tax base to a replacement home. Proposition 19 allows qualifying homeowners to use that transfer up to 3 times, which can be extremely valuable for retirees moving within California. So, Proposition 13 came out in the 1970s. You see, there was this tax vigilante, or whatever you want to call him, named Howard Jarvis, and he was the founder of the California Tax Reduction Movement. They called it a tax revolt, and it was rooted in lower and middle class income Americans' long-standing frustration with unfair and highly regressive tax distribution during the post-World War II decades. As my dad explained at one time, they could just raise your property tax whenever they wanted prior to Proposition 13. State need a little more money? Looks like you got to pay more next year. And they never, ever would go, you know, we don't need that much next year, so let's lower it again. Prop 13 solved all that nonsense toot sweet. In the 80s, I went and saw a George Carlin show, and he brought this up. He's, oh, that Proposition 13 was a real bite in the ass for those California politicians. They're like, oh no, we might have to actually start taxing our rich friends. So, should you move to California? California can still be an excellent move for people who value career freedom, worker protections, family benefits, outdoor access, and the ability to choose from radically different regions. But California is a terrible state if you move blindly. Don't choose a home based only on the kitchen, the view, or how close it is to the ocean. Check the insurance quote, tax bill, HOA reserves, fire zones, utility companies, and local rules first. The California dream is still available, but these days it comes with disclosures, attachments, and approximately 46 places to initial. We're not looking at the same well-known BS. We're not looking at the On this video, we're not doing the same bullshit you see on all the people copying my channel. On this video, we're not giving everyone the same BS that you hear on all the other channels. The difference between... I actually had a guy tell me that every single person in Wyoming knows who I am and they hate me. Every single person. Even the people that didn't have internet. You know, we're doing Wyoming next. You're really not moving to California. You're moving to a lifestyle, an idea. California's like this mythical place where everyone gets back rubs, drinks margaritas, and your wife doesn't know where you're at. They won't trap you in a non-compete. We're gonna take the homeless thing out there because everyone's talked about the homeless situation in California. Where's that story from? It was Oregon, about the woman that said a homeless guy tried to squat hump her. Squat humper? Who says squat hump? What is a squat hump? I've been looking that up for years. I can't find it on any of those slang things. Squat hump. Tried to squat hump me. No, the reason they were doing the news thing is because the alleged squat humper, he got beat to death under a bridge. Kind of morbid, but he's a squat humper. What is squat humper? No, she wasn't acting like she wasn't into it. I mean, I don't think this was an attack thing. I think it was just an event that didn't go properly for the dude. All right, that's today's video. If you enjoyed that one, I know you're going to love this one. It's about states where the state government, leaves you alone. Everyone have a great day. Be nice to each other.